What is going on, world? What's up, YouTube? It's Zero here. Today I'm bringing you guys a brand new episode of The 8 Below Show. Welcome everyone to 8 Below. Thanks for being here, guys, to the best entertainment-related show here on YouTube. And I'm super excited about our episode here today. We have a lot of stuff to talk about, so let's get into it. The drama going on in the beauty world is unlike anything I've ever seen, guys, on YouTube, and it's been going on now for quite some time between Jeffree Star, James Charles, of course, even Shane Dawson being a part of this whole thing more recently. And with that, guys, I wanted to talk about what happened to Jeffree Star here, because for some reason, Jeffree Star has actually not uploaded on his YouTube channel for a couple of weeks, is consistently losing subscribers, not like that of Shane Dawson, but it seems to me that Jeffree Star isn't necessarily getting the backlash that Shane Dawson is. And I think it's probably for reasons that Jeffree Star's, his community and his fan base understand that he's kind of portrayed as the villain within the beauty world. And I think he kind of really accepts that. It is okay with that. That's kind of like just who he is essentially within the beauty world. Now, I might be wrong. I don't know all the ins and outs of it, guys, but what I will say with full disclosure is that I've actually become a pretty big fan of Jeffree Star because of the documentary that Shane Dawson did, kind of really understanding more behind the scenes of the beauty world, getting to kind of see what Jeffree Star is like on a day-to-day basis. He seems like a pretty genuine, person, and he seems pretty cool in my opinion, but with that, there may be a completely different side to Jeffree Star and all these other, big-time celebrities within the beauty world. So what I wanted to go ahead and do, guys, is talk about what happened here to Jeffree Star. We can break it down, give our opinions, and I would love to hear yours in the comment section down below. So let's get into it. In an article that was written by Lindsay Dodgson of Insider, Jeffree Star is staying quiet while Shane Dawson's career lies in tatters. Here's why celebrities like him seem uncancelable. And so with that, Shane Dawson's reputation is currently hanging in the balance. He's lost over 1 million subscribers in the last 2 weeks after old footage resurfaced of his past, guys. Just really some messed up things. I've already talked about, the Shane Dawson, controversy and just the backlash he's been getting, and it's absolutely sickening. And this is a guy that I really looked up to when it came to, content creation on YouTube, because he does an incredible job with some of his, videos. And what he's done, though, in the past, the stuff that's been resurfaced, is just, it's inexcusable what he did in his past videos. But with that, while Dawson responded to Westbrook's video in real time on an Instagram live stream, Star is nowhere to be seen. While several of Dawson's friends have publicly supported him, Star is not among them. There have been a few theories about his whereabouts thanks to fan photos cropping up on Twitter. So what's known as the uncancelable Star's past is littered with as much controversy as Dawson's. Clips periodically resurfaced. One video, obviously, guys, a lot of, like abuse, being violent, things of that nature have kind of surfaced from Star's past. Now, Star has also faced criticism for releasing a makeup palette called Cremated during, of course, the pandemic. And, so he's lost 500,000 subscribers since Westbrook's video was posted, but for the most part has managed to stay a secondary character in this wave, a particular wave of drama. Now, some celebrities like Star seem bulletproof to criticism. Chris Brown also still has fans despite being convicted of assaulting Rihanna in 2009 and a long history of violence towards women. So this is where I actually think is quite interesting, guys. A lot of times there are celebrities out there that will, anytime that there's any type of backlash towards them, they'll just be quiet. They won't even say anything. They'll just kind of let it almost blow over, even though a lot of times it doesn't just blow over like that. But I think what Jeffree Star may very well be doing is just kind of, not really kind of stirring the pot, so to speak. He might just be kind of sitting back, waiting for this stuff to blow over for the most part before making like some public statements. So in the internet world, YouTube creators like Keemstar, Trisha Paytas, Tana Mongeau, and Star are constantly called out for controversial statements or behavior, but it never seems to damage their careers too much. Esme Rice, the marketing director of the influencer marketing agency Teolifi, told Insider that could be because some people are simply better at shaking off criticism than others. I believe some influencers are held to different standards, and often this is a reflection of how they are originally portrayed. And so look, I do believe, guys, that guys like Keemstar, Jeffree Star, I think these guys are the types of influencers and such that can just, they're getting, called out all the time for different things and different types of behavior. And so they're almost so used to it at this point that it doesn't really bother them at the end of the day. Even Trisha Paytas and some of these other, big time, popular people within the YouTube world are able to shake it off because they get so much backlash as it is, and they've almost accepted it for who they are. And so chaos and controversy have built the brand for some celebrities. Mongu, for example, has never really faced serious backlash despite being one of the most controversial creators on the platform. In her past, she's been filmed driving while reportedly under influence, guys. She's has been responsible for thousands of fans getting sunburned in the California heat when her disastrous event TanaCon fell apart. But Mongu has managed to lean into her chaotic persona, and fans love her for it. So that's just kind of how it is with some of these stars, guys. It's just how it is. Each star that's out there, whether, large or small, that have these, these fan bases, some of them accept certain types of behavior just because it's kind of who that person is or who that individual is. But we've even seen, even with someone like Shane Dawson, who's had that, who, regardless of some of the things in his past that have resurfaced, it's really just all of a sudden, guys, that some significant things, came up from his past that have really got, kind of really been put in the spotlight in a major way. But even before, Shane Dawson has been in the spotlight before, guys, with controversy, and people have kind of accepted that's just kind of who he is. But at the end of the day, when we look back into his past in a significant way and start looking at some of the things that have kind of been repetitive, that have come up over and over again, that's when there was real problems. So with that, guys, however, YouTuber Drama, who runs the channel, Psych IRL, told Insider Mongu's fanbase has followed her since she was very young, when much of her behavior was ignored. When she was smaller, she did similar things, of course, but now we let that behavior go because of her status, she said. Now she's bigger, she's built all that stuff into her personality. So I guess the question is because they allowed this to kind of go and the fan base allowed it to, kind of grow as it is and accepted who these people are, now that they're these huge personalities, is it really okay for them to be acting the way that they do? And look, guys, for me at least, with the whole, the drama around the beauty world is unlike anything I've ever seen. And look, I don't fully understand the beauty world. Like, of course, I watched the documentary and I really enjoyed it from Shane Dawson about Jeffree Star, but there's so much behind the scenes, guys, that I think that we don't 100% know, and the things that go on behind closed doors and all of that such, the backstabbing and things of that nature. I think it happens in the beauty world in a major way, but I think it happens in so many other industries as well. It's not just the beauty world, in my personal opinion. Now, she said a social contract is made between the audience and the creator about what they expect from each other. It's when they deviate from this expectation that they have a problem. If they think about the way that YouTube garners its audience, I think it's very similar to how you develop a friendship, she said. Mongu's viewership has agreed to the social contract that this is who she is. The same can be said, of course, like I said, guys, about Jeffree Star. So, Chris Bootsy from the YouTube channel The Rewired Soul told Insider some celebrities can seem relatively uncancelable because they're never really expected to change. They will come out and apologize for the dramas they get involved in and continue the cycle of getting into them in the first place. For example, when Charles lost 3 million subscribers last year for Westbrook's accusations that he was inappropriate, he promised evidence in an upcoming video, but then removed himself from the situation as quickly as he'd inserted himself into it. And probably with that situation, guys, James Charles probably should have just not even, said that he was going to make an upcoming video. He probably should have just removed himself from the situation altogether. It seems like Jeffree Star right now is kind of removing himself from this whole situation that's going on right here, right now. So I think that, there's always a strategy behind everything that happens in life, guys, whether it's positive, negative. There's always a strategy, and I'm sure Jeffree Star is probably, strategizing how he's going to kind of maneuver around this entire blow up that happened revolving Shane Dawson. So with that, Dawson really disappointed his fans when his history was dredged up because he had an almost universal image of being kind and empathetic. Star, on the other hand, has always had a bit more mystery and darkness surrounding him. I don't know if I 100% agree with that, because Dawson, in my opinion, yes, I agree. He is, he has this image of being kind and empathetic, and I 100% agree with that. But I always thought there was some scoundrel to Shane Dawson. Not like in like a negative way, but I always just kind of thought, from him doing these different types of videos based around like Jeffree Star, Jake Paul, these controversial figures, there has to be something else there. And so that's just personally with me. I'm not saying that, I always thought that, there was, negativity surrounding Shane Dawson. Now with what's going on, now we're starting to see a lot more come to light, which is, like I said, a very unfortunate ordeal. However, I'm going to be really interested to see how things kind of play out as time goes, and we'll just have to kind of wait and see, guys. Star also has a huge fan base of over 17 million, many of which are fiercely loyal to him. Even if 500,000 of his followers turn against him, the population of a small city, that still leaves millions who will run to his defense. Some celebrities cross a threshold where enough people have their back that it doesn't matter what they do. And I got to admit, guys, that this is very true. As far as we can really tell, when we look at these larger than life personalities, celebrities, I think we can probably all agree that there are going to be people who will jump ship if there's like some really bad stuff that comes out about that individual, but there is always going to be a loyal fan base to that person. Even with the stuff going on with Shane Dawson, there's going to be people who defend him to the bitter end, and that's just how it is, guys, with these fan bases. It just happens at the end of the day. Now, as far as what really happened here and where Jeffree Star is at this very moment in time, it's actually pretty hard to say, guys. I would say, when we look at not only his, he's hasn't uploaded for a couple of weeks. Then we look at, his Social Blade stats. He's losing subscribers on a daily basis, pushing 20,000 daily subscribers that he's losing, which is, that's not nearly what was happening with Shane Dawson. But it's just very interesting to me, guys, that we're seeing this type of, backlash from all of these different personalities. It's almost like not helping anyone. At the end of the day, it feels like everybody's losing subscribers, everyone's losing followers within the beauty world and such, and it's really not helping anyone. So why is it happening? And I think that this has just been something that's been boiling up for a while. Like, it's just something that's been kind of festering within the community and is slowly but surely just really messing with a lot of, just a lot of people within the beauty world, and it's rubbing people the wrong way, whether, however, the backstabbing and the trash talk and things of that nature. It's a real thing that's happening, guys, and it's really unfortunate. But as far as a new era that is ahead here, there was once a theory that Star's recent explosion in popularity was thanks to his connection to Dawson. He, Mongu, and Paintus have basically been given a free pass when they found themselves in the midst of a drama because the halo of the king of YouTube was protecting them. However, Dawson's association is no longer the bulletproof vest it once was. The YouTube reckoning over the past couple of weeks has shown nobody is safe and everyone's past is free game. So what I think, guys, is that as YouTube evolves over time, everyone has to evolve, and do things differently as things change consistently within society, the things that are okay, the things that aren't okay. And that's really what this is all going to come down to, guys, is that, as we go along life, we learn from our mistakes. Some of us, don't, but, you kind of look at what you did right, what you did wrong, and what you can do better moving forward. And I think that goes for everybody, whether you're in the beauty world, whether you're in the gaming world, whether you're in the sports world, whatever it might be, guys, you just have to realize that these are all people. These are people. These are human beings that are, sure, do they make mistakes just like everyone else? Absolutely. when they make a mistake, is it going to be put under the spotlight like in a significant way, unlike just normal people? Absolutely. And so you have to look at that, guys. And I think that there's a real, and I've talked about this before on the YouTube channel, there's a big, when it comes down to, any types of, wrongdoings that people do towards you, forgiveness is a really powerful thing that we have, that we're able to forgive people for the things that they've done to us, whether they're, significantly negative, whatever it might be, guys. And I think this is a perfect example of a time where we really need to learn to forgive. Does that mean that we just let Shane Dawson come back onto YouTube and get, fully monetized again and things of that nature? No, that's not what that means. But I think that there is a level of forgiveness that you have to have, guys, in your heart, because if you just let a grudge fester within you, a lot of times that just carries, you kind of carry that with you. And forgiving people actually can like relieve those grudges, and you actually just feel better. I've noticed it myself, even when I, get really upset with like a family member or a friend of mine or something. If we get into an argument or something and you let that grudge in and it just kind of like festers there and you're not talking to that person or something of that nature, it just festers, and you just like think about it like that, it's almost like building up hatred within you. But when you forgive that person for the wrong that they did, or they forgive you for the wrong that you did, there's a real relief there. And I think there's a really positive thing that we just have to really learn, guys, and continue to learn and evolve as we go here. And I think that this is a perfect situation of that, where there just needs to be a lot of forgiveness. There just really does. People need to learn to forgive. And I think that this is put on, a spotlight on the beauty world in a major way, but I'm sure many other industries are going to get spotlights as well at different points throughout the course of time. And with that, guys, I think that, Jeffree Star, as far as, what happened here, I think he's just most likely, as I said, kind of just letting these things kind of blow over, or he's really putting things in place, strategizing so that when he makes a public statement, whatever it might be, people will, listen. But not only that, he really wants to have together. He doesn't want to just put together a really quick statement and then release it to the world. I think he's going to take his time. But I'll definitely keep you guys up to speed as further information comes out. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below about the Jeffree Star, Shane Dawson, these controversies that are coming out, guys, and they, uncancelable, creators versus the creators that are cancelable. Let me know what you guys think. And for more content like this, stay here with Zero TV. We've talked on the YouTube channel about Deathloop, an upcoming game, guys, by none other than Arcane Studios and being published by Bethesda Softworks. This is a game, guys, that's very intriguing to me. Arcane Studios are the guys behind Dishonored. They're also behind the Prey games. And with that, I wanted to go ahead and talk about this new potential franchise by none other than Arcane, known as Deathloop, and the things that we want, that being everything that we want out of this game. When I say we, guys, I'm going to be giving you guys my personal opinions here. I would love to hear your guys' thoughts and what you guys want to see in Deathloop in the comment section down below. So let's get into it. So, guys, this is a game that is set to come out later on this year in 2020, and what I will say about it is this. This is a game that, unfortunately, it seems like it's only going to be coming to the PS5. It's also planning on coming to Windows. It doesn't sound like it's going to be coming to Xbox, though, at least at first. Maybe it will at some other point or another. But with that, one of the things I'd really like to see out of this game is, a full-blown campaign here. And I think that the concept of dying over and over again, and they're actually marketing it as based upon that, is a very interesting concept with this story. And so I want to see a really fleshed out story here. Obviously there's going to be multiplayer elements to it, which I don't know exactly what the multiplayer is going to all encompass, which we'll have to kind of wait and see as further information comes out. But what I'd like to see is really a full-blown campaign, guys, where we get to really understand these characters Juliana as well as Colt, who these two characters, they're trying to take out one another, and I would like to see that here within a full-fledged story. Even though it's a pretty simple concept, it's one they're trying to kill each other, and then when they do, they respawn, and then they just keep on coming back, which is almost like just a consistent loop, essentially, which is why it's called Deathloop. So I want to see, though, like some character development here between all of the characters involved. understanding, where their backstories and things of that nature. How did we get to where we are within the story? I think that would be really special at the end of the day. Make it a linear story, in my opinion. I think that's probably what Arcane Studios does best, but I would love to see that here moving forward in Deathloop. That being said, guys, that leads me to the multiplayer. It sounds like you're going to be able to pick one or the other as far as the characters are concerned, either Juliana or Colt, and then, you can either choose the AI to go up against or an actual person, and that is the multiplayer aspect is 1v1, which is a very interesting concept in my opinion. It reminds me of kind of like a strategy game like StarCraft where, it's 1v1. I mean, obviously you can do more than just 1v1, but at the end of the day, it's just very interesting how it's going to be like very strategic and such, and I think that might be something really special moving into this game. And it may have some very interesting, multiplayer elements to it. I'm just hoping that there's multiple modes to the multiplayer. So one of the things I want is it not just to be like 1v1 and that's all you can do. It'd be nice to have like 2v2s, 3v3s, or having other modes other than just, like a death match or something. It'd be nice to have different kinds of modes where there's different types of strategies. I think that would be really cool. I love the concept of maybe making 1v1 like the premier game mode, but also having other ways in which you can connect would be really cool as well. Another part of this, guys, when we're talking about multiplayer, when you look at the grand landscape of BR titles, Battle Royale, this reminds me like of a title where it's almost like you can play in a Battle Royale setting and you die, but you go back into a loop and it's almost like the game just continues and continues. And however you win the matches is another thing for, another conversation for another day. But what I'm getting at is I feel like this is a game that could be really cool with Battle Royale. So I don't know if it's something that they're even thinking about at all. Probably not. But maybe they are. Maybe they've considered it. And I think that Deathloop might actually do well with a Battle Royale, game mode on the side. I think that could be something really special. And that leads me to the co-op side of things, guys. This seems like one of those games where it's primarily supposed to be you by yourself or, against someone else, whatever it might be. But I think co-op is at least having some co-op modes or co-op missions separate from like the single player story would be really cool in my opinion. Being able to play with my friends. I've always talked about, guys, having a full package deal around different games that you play. And this is no different. I want to have a full package where I can play multiplayer if I'd like, play a single player story, or play some co-op missions, or, whatever that looks like. Being able to play with my friends on top of all of it in a multiplayer setting or a co-op missions would be absolutely awesome. And then also, guys, the next thing I think that would make this a very intriguing type of ordeal is if somehow Arcane were to put this game, if this is going to be completely separate from all of their other franchises, from Prey, from Dishonored, it'd be interesting to see this somehow work its way into one of those franchises. Now, I don't know how they would do it, but it might be something kind of interesting. I'm not saying it's necessarily a want. It's more like an honorable mention, maybe something that wouldn't, like, it would be very interesting, a very interesting concept to see Deathloop actually exist within one of these other universes that they've got. We don't see it a lot in video games, guys, other than games like Apex Legends being within the Titanfall universe and things of that nature. But this is an opportunity I think Arcane has to continue growing upon a current IP they have. Maybe they want Deathloop to be its completely own thing, which would be interesting. But at the end of the day, I think it would be pretty cool to see it as a part of a current IP that they have. But with that, guys, those are the things that I definitely would like to see out of Deathloop. What would you guys want to see out of this game? Let me know in the comment section down below. And for more Deathloop content and videos, stay here with Zero TV. We've talked on the YouTube channel about the Dishonored series, but I wanted to talk in this segment of the show, guys, about what happened to Dishonored. Where is this series at currently? Is this going to be a series that continues into the future? Or is it in an indefinite hiatus or a limbo state at this current point in time? We just got done talking about Arcane Studios' newest game, that being Deathloop. And, these are the guys, of course, that have made Prey. They also have made the Dishonored games. And so with that, the question lies is, will they ever come back to Dishonored after Deathloop, or if they make another Prey game, or if they decide to, continue Dishonored at some point or another? might we see that? So let's talk about it, guys. You leave me, your comments down below as to what you guys think and what happened to Dishonored, and do you think it will ever return? Let's get into it. So guys, in an article written by PC Games, Prey developer Arcane made their name with the fantastic Dishonored series, which received the excellent Death of the Outsider expansion just last year. The games have been well received. And by the way, guys, this article was written back in 2018, but I think it's still relevant here today simply because we haven't seen a new Dishonored yet, and with the announcement of Deathloop, we might not be seeing a Dishonored 3 for quite some time. The games have been well received, so we're sad to say that fans should not expect to see Dishonored 3 get revealed anytime soon. This according to lead designer Ricardo Baer, who was interviewed by VG247 at QuakeCon. He told the site, "I can't say definitely what might happen down the road. Anything could happen, but Dishonored is resting for now." Baer suggests that the reason isn't due to the sales as some may expect, but more like Arcane wanted to do other games. Although they still want to continue making first-person immersive sims such as Dishonored, its various spin-offs and expansions, or Prey. As far as pure immersive sims go, I don't know if we're going to continue to make like Carbon Copy. This qualifies as an immersive sim, and it's the only thing we're ever going to make. The things that are important to us as a studio are coherent, deep world building and environmental storytelling. We're always going to craft spaces that you feel like you're visiting, whether it's Dunwall or Talos 1. It's just as important a character as the player or the people you meet. Then it's improvisational gameplay, giving players a bunch of cool abilities and tools, then saying, you figure it out, you be creative, you own the experience. And so obviously, guys, when we see this, and what he's stating here is that Dishonored is, currently in a sleep, right? Dishonored, and we know why now, right? Because of Deathloop. Deathloop is the next game that they're working on. Now, is this going to be its own, just one game that they're working on, or are they going to actually make a full-blown franchise and series out of Deathloop? It's very hard to say. What's interesting to me is that they say they want, they want to build deep worlds with environmental storytelling, and Deathloop certainly looks like it's got points of that, but it seems like a very basic concept. You're just fighting one other person, and I mean, obviously, we're going to have to wait till the full game comes out. It's a very interesting concept, though, and it looks like they may be taking a little bit of a multiplayer approach here to Deathloop, whereas obviously with Dishonored 2, it was a single player story and that was it. They kind of maybe want to expand upon like the multiplayer aspects as well as single player in Deathloop. So Dishonored's creative director Harvey Smith previously suggested that if the studio were going to do a Dishonored 3, it would have to feature different characters in different situations, since Death of the Outsider marked a definitive end to the current storyline. Smith said that he hoped there were more games in the series, but admitted that he honestly doesn't know if it's going to happen. We thought Dishonored 2 was fantastic, earning a perfect 10 from our reviewer Fraser Brown. And then, of course, Death of the Outsider was awarded a 9. Honestly, guys, in my personal opinion, I would love to see a continuation of this franchise, to see Dishonored, continue at some point or another. If we go over to the Dishonored 2 Wikipedia page, guys, as far as from a reception perspective for Dishonored 2, I mean, on Metacritic, PC, PS4, and Xbox One got about 88 out of 100. And then when we're looking at, Game Informer, 9.25 out of 10, IGN 9.3 out of 10, PC Gamer 93 out of 100, Polygon 8.5 out of 100, or 8.5 out of 10. Overall, it got great reception. As far as the sales are concerned, Dishonored 2 was the 4th best-selling game in its first week of release, but the launch week sales dropped 38% when compared with the original game. Although only sales of physical copies were recorded, that same week, the game had sold the most pre-orders on Steam and was ranked 6th in overall sales. It was the 7th best-selling retail video game in the UK in its second week of release, according to ChartTrack, a 52% decrease from the first week, similar to that of its predecessor. After a reduction in cost, Dishonored 2 re-entered the UK charts in the 4th week of May 2017, ranked in 8th place with a 1,267% rise in sales. So with that, I think that we can agree that even though there was a drop, right, when you compare it to the original game, that sometimes but see, the thing about that is it dropped, but then it came back up somewhat, right? And so what I think, guys, is that it didn't sell great, but it wasn't terrible either. It got great reception. So I think one of the things that Dishonored, if they were to continue doing this and make a Dishonored 3, I think it would certainly be after, the release of Deathloop. Maybe they want to continue making other games, guys, like maybe they want to come back to Prey, officially make Prey 2, or they want to, do Dishonored 3, or they want to make, more Deathloop games. It's really hard to say. I would like to see them make another Dishonored game simply because I think that they should round out a trilogy here at least. Don't just do 2 games and then be done with it. I think that they should at least have 3 games within this franchise before moving on completely. So maybe they will, maybe they won't. I think one of the things I'd like to see them do in Dishonored 3 would be multiplayer aspects to kind of bring you back to the game over and over again. But they are doing that with Deathloop. Let's see how they do as far as Deathloop is concerned from a multiplayer perspective as well as a single player perspective, because that may really quench our thirst, so to speak, for, Dishonored, because maybe Deathloop is going to be something really special. It looks pretty good. We'll have to kind of wait and see, guys. But it sounds at the end of the day, with what happened to Dishonored, kind of weaker sales than maybe expected. And then on top of that, Arcane wants to work on other things outside of just Dishonored. They want to kind of build their IP and brand into other games as well. And so with that, that's kind of where I think we are. I think Dishonored 3 is currently in a limbo state, or it's in an indefinite hiatus at this point, guys. Hopefully we'll see it at some point or another, and I'll keep you guys up to speed as more information comes out. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Where do you think Dishonored 3 is? What do you guys think happened to Dishonored at this point in time? Let me know. And for more Dishonored 3 content and videos, stay here with Zero TV. We've been talking ad nauseum at this point, guys, about Dr. Disrespect and the events that kind of happened and the tons of question marks we have about the Dr. Disrespect Twitch ban and what this could mean for the future, whether it's a publicity stunt, whether it's something very serious that happened behind the scenes with Dr. Disrespect in his personal life. Whatever it is, guys, we don't know as of yet. However, I want to talk about in this, segment of the show, will Dr. Disrespect return back to Twitch? And I think it's a real question because we've seen in the past that Twitch will sometimes issue out bans, and they sometimes are, very long. Maybe they're like a couple of weeks long. Sometimes they're even, months long. Other times they're permanent bans. Now, they say it's a permanent ban as of right now, but will Twitch hold that, especially if this is something else that's behind the scenes and it's not like something absolutely serious or, criminal essentially. So I want to talk about that, guys. I'd love to get your guys' thoughts in the comment section down below. So with that, based on everything that we know right now, guys, I've got to say that I do not believe that Dr. Disrespect will ever return back to Twitch. I think that even if this was all some type of publicity stunt, it's very hard for me to believe that Twitch would go through all the trouble of deleting his channel off of Twitch, refunding people who were currently subscribed to him, if they were not planning on cutting ties completely with Dr. Disrespect. I believe Dr. Disrespect is going to be on another platform, most likely. Now, there's people saying that he's done, like he's not going to be on any platform moving forward, like his career is done as a streamer and such. I kind of have a hard time believing that, but honestly, it really comes down to what is the reason here. We haven't heard anything. It's unbelievable that nothing has gotten out from his inner circle, from his team, from Twitch, from anywhere of really what happened here. Now, there are people and there's rumblings that they know, certain people know what happened, but they don't feel comfortable revealing what's going on. And so with that, Dr. Disrespect, the theory that I have been, even though I don't really like speculating, guys, I kind of like to go based on like the facts and such. One theory that has come up that's interesting to me was about Dr. Disrespect. He signs this exclusivity deal, and then Twitch sees what happened with Mixer and how it just completely fell apart, after bringing on Ninja and Shroud. Even though I was really happy for Ninja and Shroud getting these huge deals, these exclusivity deals, it essentially pretty much was one of the reasons why Mixer completely failed, because they just didn't have enough money. They weren't getting enough viewership. They were trying to pay for viewers instead of trying to grow it organically. So part of it was Mixer's fault anyway. But that being said, when Twitch saw that, they probably felt like they didn't want to pay Dr. Disrespect this exclusivity deal anymore, and they might have found something in the past that was negative or where he didn't follow terms of service or something, and then they just banned him. And they haven't said anything, and obviously they don't have to. That's just how Twitch is. And so with that, when you look at, from an outsider's perspective looking in, they may have just completely, cut ties with Dr. Disrespect not to pay him the exclusivity. Now, it's hard for me, once again, to really believe this, because why would you even do that? Even though you're paying him millions of dollars, he's bringing in tons of viewers. This is one of the biggest streamers on all of Twitch. So it's hard for me to understand why Twitch would do this unless it was something, very serious, that there's, criminal charges, things of that nature. And from what it sounds like, ESPN has looked into it. They found no criminal charges or, arrests or any warrants, anything like that. So it's very hard to say what's going on here. What's unbelievable to me is that this has been under wraps now for quite some time, and the word hasn't gotten out yet. It hasn't gotten out as to what happened. I'm almost wondering if Dr. Disrespect is just waiting until things kind of calm down to really make another public statement. But nonetheless, we know very little at this point, guys. I mean, we know that he was banned, and apparently it was a permanent ban, and his channel has been deleted, and everyone who was subscribed to Dr. Disrespect is now refunded. And it's a very strange ordeal going on there. I just don't know why Twitch would do that unless it wasn't something serious at the end of the day, unless they wanted to get out of the exclusivity deal. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. But the question at large is will he return to Twitch? I don't believe so, guys. I can't see it. And the fact that Twitch was so on top of deleting his channel, refunding people, just tells me that even if it wasn't something serious, that bridge is almost like burned at this point. And so now, Dr. Disrespect, will he go to Facebook Gaming? Will he go to Brime? Will he go to YouTube? Will he go to somewhere else? It's so hard to say. But I feel like he, as well as Ninja and Shroud, may be all looking at something together to try to form a stream team almost, or like their own stream platform, which would be very interesting to say the least. We'll have to kind of wait and see, and I'll keep you guys all up to speed as more information comes out. But let me know, guys. The question here is, will Dr. Disrespect return to Twitch when all the dust settles, or do you think he's done completely from Twitch? Let me know in the comment section down below. And for more content like this, guys, stay here with Zero TV. And with that being said, everyone, I hope you guys did enjoy this episode of the 8 Below Show. And if you guys did, leave a thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, stay positive, and as always, I'll talk to you guys all in the next one. Peace.